You know what they say, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I want to be a fry cook. Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, sitting down for one of the most important reviews of my young career. So buckle in. Today, we're talking about Spongebob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, which releases on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch for the attractive price point of $30. Now, I stand by the very idea that SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is one of the best 3D platformer collectathons ever made. This is indeed a relic from my childhood, an important title for me, one that I've replayed time in, time out, but it's been, I'd say, about like 14 years since I last played it, so I was really itching to dive into this remake of the cult classic speedrunner's favorite. Now, to set the stage for my own review, we need to take a look at specifically IGN and GameSpot's reviews for SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, because
Yes, excellent!
So a quick history lesson. IGN gave the original Battle for Bikini Bottom a 7.3 out of 10 back when it released in 2003. Now, I understand, different reviewer, different standards, different opinions, different time period. All these apply to any single review. But to set the stage for my review, I want to show you guys the lens that some of the more negative reviews have been viewing this title through. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong, it's their opinion. But IGN scored Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated a mediocre 5 out of 10. And there's only one mediocre thing I'm looking at in the review.
Mediocre?
I'm just playing, relax. Anyway, a lot of people wanted to leap on this review because this is the same person who reviewed The Last of Us Part 2, one of the most controversial games of 2020, and gave it a 10. Like I said, the lens of which the reviews are being viewed through is super important. So let's take just a brief look at the verdict for the IGN review, which I can just summarize and say that he was comparing it to a number of other remakes throughout our industry. A new standard's been set with the releases of, say, Final Fantasy VII Remake. When you look at the original game and then 7 Remake, there's improvements in the gameplay, there's changes in the story. It is a completely different game from top to bottom. However, that's a $60 AAA title. When it comes to SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, however, this is a remake in the most faithful sense. It keeps everything intact, good and bad. And to his review, he states that that's really not the best choice for this game. GameSpot, however, they put this one in maximum overdrive. Holy smokes, they destroyed this game. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated received a whopping 2 out of 10 from GameSpot, saying that it had dull moment-to-moment gameplay, stubborn controls that show their age, collectibles are either too simple or too tedious, and they aren't rewarding, as well as combat interactions feeling unfair, and death is unforgiving in the worst way. Once again, different reviewer, different time period, different standards, but you know what GameSpot gave a 1 to? 1 point below SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom? Ride to Hell Retribution, which is objectively, mind you, one of the worst games ever made. Ride to Hell Retribution is downright offensive, stupid, hardly functionable, hardly playable. At least SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, at its bare minimum, is a playable 3D platformer with a lot of fan service. And you're telling me that's 1 point above one of the worst games ever made in history? What? So SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated took me about 8 hours or so to run through and get 75 golden spatulas to get to the final boss and wipe him out. It's not a terribly long game unless you want to dive back in and get all the remaining collectibles, which I highly recommend. That's a large point of playing the game. However, this GameSpot reviewer said it took them 20 hours to play through the game, and when you combine that with them claiming that death is unfair and punishing, I don't know what else to say other than I think they clearly struggled with the title. And I don't say that from like an elite gamer standpoint, right? Like everyone's got their own skill sets, and I don't bag on anyone for not being as good at a game, but I don't think Battle for Bikini Bottom was a really difficult, unforgiving title. Even when I died a lot. Like there's one point in SpongeBob's Dream where I had a bit of trouble getting across these green cubes, but outside of that, I thought that it was a extremely creative game and brought a lot of fan service to the most valuable seasons to SpongeBob, which is seasons 1 through 3. So one review looked at it through the perspective of how does this stack up versus other remakes. One looked at it individually. Now you kind of have an idea of how they came to their scores, which are really controversial to a lot of people. Here's my interpretation. Battle for Bikini Bottom is faithful in the best and worst ways, but overall, whether it be nostalgia or the fact that I think it's a dang good game, I really enjoyed going back to this title. In an industry where we're constantly being thrown at us emotional stories, gameplay that thrives off of tension, it was nice to play something that was just platforming, getting collectibles, and a couple of laughs through one of personally my favorite shows ever made. Like, if you guys listen to the podcast, you know I don't watch a lot of movies, I don't watch a lot of TVs, I can't quote many things outside of games, but SpongeBob, yeah, I can quote that show. Visually, I think the game looks great, and they've added a couple of new animations to really bring these characters to life. Now, they do retain all the voice lines, and I mean all of the voice lines. Yes, I literally mean everything is the same. Like even Mr. Krabs' B-tier voice actor replacement.
No money means no more Krusty Krab. No more Krusty Krab means no more fry cooking for you.
All right, so you just want me to go ahead and do like a pirate voice, right? Like, I've never done this before. Yeah, just go ahead and, you know, record a couple lines, put on a little bit of a pirate voice, and, you know, you'll be fine. Yo ho! How was that? All right, what? Oh, you're fine, just hurry up. Now, as someone who loves video game history, I sort of appreciated in a weird way that they even kept these old voice actors because it shows how different games were back then, but obviously that's not something you have a vested interest in when you're spending $30. So the core of Battle for Bikini Bottom is acquiring golden spatulas. These are your keys to progressing to brand new areas, whether it be downtown Bikini Bottom, the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard, Kelp Forest, like every iconic location in SpongeBob you can fully explore here. And within each of these locations are, as I said, those golden spatulas. You can rack up more of those. Patrick's socks, which you're gonna need to turn in for more golden spatulas, and shiny objects, which are these colorful collectible thingies that are pretty much your currency and allow for you to either buy more golden spatulas or use them to access areas that were previously inaccessible throughout the game. And yeah, here's where I could see there could have been improvements. When you get a ton of these shiny objects, it would have been nice to have a new skill set or a new perk tree that allowed for some new abilities in game to get some bonus collectibles that maybe the developers added in. What I see here is a fairly priced game for what exactly it is, but also a game that the developers, who are very talented, wanted to do more with, but just didn't have the time to. So they left the game as is and remade it in a beautiful visual style that works really well. And so ultimately, I really enjoyed my time and was impressed by how many different enemies there were to fight and how you had to tackle them differently, whether it be these spinny flame robots that you have to take out the top one so they don't respawn, and the bottom one so you can stop taking damage, or robots that shoot out little baby robots from their little cages. How about robots that you can only stealth up to using specific characters like SpongeBob, or you have to get creative with the platforming and get closer to them using Sandy and her lasso? Because yes, you can play as multiple characters here, whether it be SpongeBob, Patrick, or Sandy, and they can each explore the level in different ways. Patrick has the ability to lift up heavier objects like watermelon, ice fruit, and throw them around to reach different places. Sandy has the ability to glide places using her lasso, and SpongeBob has the widest range of abilities between being able to do a huge uppercut, bubble bowling, throwing a bubble rocket. All this stuff plays into his kit, but also some of the things that were established in the show in the past that I really appreciate. Now, I'm 25 years old, so you know, it's kind of funny, and I'm sitting here talking about this clearly kids game and how good it is. If you're an adult watching for your kid, yeah, this game is perfect for that. It's simple, it's fun, it's challenging, it's cute, it's rewarding. It's one of my favorite games when I was a kid. So you're watching as a parent, yes, go buy this game. However, if you're like me and you're a gaming enthusiast and you're looking into just dropping $30 on a brand new game, I'd like to say, view what your current gaming palette is. Are you constantly overwhelmed with the same feeling titles in the industry where it's another hub world game, another open world game, another RPG, another dark story. And while they're interesting when you're sitting down and playing them, it's a mental investment to get started. I think this game would be a perfect, what I call, palate cleanser. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is so different from most games we get in the industry, and at the price point of $30, yes, it does invalidate some of the criticisms I have of the game, like the brand new multiplayer that's been added to the title. This was something that was previously cut content that is now replaced. It's just a horde mode. There's really no voice lines or anything added to the game. You can run around and play as Mr. Krabs or Gary or Squidward for the first time ever in these games. So it's cool for that. And yeah, as a kid, if I had this for couch co-op, I probably would have loved it. But when it comes to actually being a brand new addition to the game, it doesn't add much value in my personal opinion. It's just kind of there. But once again, I'm factoring in that this is $30, half the price of a normal game. I feel like that makes it a little bit easier to forgive some of its shortcomings. Yes, there is nostalgia glazing over my review. You should be aware of that, as I stated early on. But at the same time, I think it's a good game for what it is. Do you just like collecting things, which pretty much every open world game tells you to do? What if you put that in a creative platformer where you had to creatively use characters from one of the best cartoons ever made to get around the level, as you fight off robots that have invaded Bikini Bottom thanks to Plankton? Plus, growing up loving SpongeBob, but also as a kid when I first played this game, it was like a dream come true to be able to explore the SpongeBob universe as much as you could, whether it was SpongeBob's house, Squidward's house, Patrick's house, Bikini Bottom itself, downtown Bikini Bottom, Kelp Forest, Jellyfish Fields. Like, there were so many places you could go in this game and just go all out with the exploration. It was so nice, and it still is nice. So ultimately, I think Battle for Bikini Bottom is worth your $30. In an industry constantly filled with the samey feeling stuff, this is a bit different because it's something that we don't see that often. Conceptually speaking, yeah, we've seen a lot of 3D platformers in gaming history, but there's not many new releases that are 3D platformers that at least I'm aware of, and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom was one of the most defining, surprising 3D platformers of its time. So yeah, I'd give this game a look if you've got the means. If you don't, it's not something I'm urging you to rush out and get. You know, this is a game that can wait a little bit till it's $20, $15, that's no problem. I'm not trying to invalidate others' reviews, but I just felt that they were so borderline unfairly negative based off its own price point that it didn't make sense. It's like they were reviewing it from the $60 standpoint. If this was $60, I would be all over destroying this game. But it's not. It's half price from what we normally pay. So that's how I'll leave my review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments down below of my outfit. Oh, in the game, of course, yes, the game. Yeah, right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed. I'd love to know what you think of this game. Fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Big thank you to all the patrons as we continue to really push the limits of this channel. Appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll talk with you soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.